Now, the Afghan situation is the big international headline. The government, in fact, here in India has called an all-party meeting to discuss the Afghan crisis. There are thousands of people from Afghanistan who've been coming into our country. Historically, the ties between the two countries have been very, very close. But the focus is also now on the Afghan resistance. They've been known in the past to be the Northern Alliance, and it appears that there is a fight back which is taking place. How much is this fight back from the Panjshir Valley going to change the situation on the ground? We have in this world exclusive interview a very special guest. Ahmad Wali Massoud, chairperson of the Massoud Foundation, is the younger brother of the late Ahmed Shah Massoud. He joins us now, and it's wonderful to have you, sir. You're joining us from Paris. Firstly, sir, the ground situation. To the best of your understanding, have resistance forces been able to successfully regain some territory from the Taliban?
Well, yes, the resistance forces at the moment, they are staying in Panjshir, some part of one province, plus some part of Kopisau, and in the valley of Andarab province on Baghlan. So there are parts of the resistance, but at the same time, there are other parts in central Afghanistan as well. So at the moment, the resistance is getting momentum.
Mr. Massoud, who is leading the resistance? Is it Ahmed Massoud? Is it the former first Vice President, Amrullah Saleh? I know you're part of it. Who is leading the resistance? Who is the face of the resistance?
Well, there is no doubt that, of course, the resistance, although that belongs to all people of Afghanistan, but right now, at this moment, there is a young man, Ahmed Massoud, who is the son of Ahmad Shah Massoud, the national hero of Afghanistan. He is at the moment leading the resistance in the Panjshir Valley and adjacent provinces around the Panjshir Valley.
Right, your nephew over there, very bravely leading, and he's just, what, 32 years old, right?
Yes.
And, sir, what sort of international support, beyond ideological support, because I'm not sure there are too many nations which support the Taliban other than Pakistan, but internationally, what support are you now getting?
Well, at the moment, there is no support whatsoever like that because the resistance is very new. Not to forget, only a week ago, the government of Dr. Ghani and Amrullah Saleh and the rest, they fell. So therefore, that resistance is very new with the leading force of young men like Ahmad Massoud. And there are people who are really kind of contributing to that. But at the same time, let me say that when I say the resistance does not mean the fighting. Resistance, it means against the fighting. So at the moment, the priority is that how exactly we can stand against those fighting, against the onslaught of the Taliban, not to allow them to attack those areas where we are holding. So we are proposing a sort of peace proposal, a dialogue. Let's see whether it will be practiced, it will come into effect or not. If it does, of course, we are for that. But if it doesn't, then of course, the resistance have to go ahead.
That's very interesting. You are suggesting a peace proposal while at the same time fighting. What is your peace proposal, sir?
Well, at the moment, what we are really kind of proposing is that we are calling on the Taliban to really curb the violence, to curb the searching of the houses of the people, to curb the sort of stop the launching of the attack on the area that they have not been there, to really stop this sort of selective killing of some politicians and some commandos. We have been calling on Taliban to do that one. This is a priority. But of course, the second priority for us, what sort of provisional government will be set up? That will be the outcome of any dialogue.
So I'm just trying to understand how Panjshir, which is a relatively small area, is holding out in the face of a Taliban supported by Pakistan. I believe the northern parts have also collapsed because Mazar-e-Sharif has gone to the Taliban as well. That riverine border you have with Tajikistan, the Amudarya River, that is also no longer in your hands. I've been to the Panjshir Valley, I've been to Bazarak many times, and I'm just trying to understand, sir, how is your homeland, the heart of the resistance, going to survive this?
Yes, there are some confusion. People really think what happened, the rest of Afghanistan fell, but by that, Afghanistan fell under a raptor like Ashraf Ghani and his government. So that was them who were fighting Taliban, so they could not resist because of the leadership that fell. But now the resistance which are kind of hung up, this is the people, not the army, not the government. But the people who genuinely to save their own homeland, to defend their own homeland. So it's quite different. Of course, the spirit amongst the people is very high. They really genuinely want to defend their own homeland against any injustice. So therefore, that is kind of very separate from what happened to 20 years of investment on that army and a very corrupt leadership, which really ran away with billions of dollars.
Mr. Massoud, what do you expect India to do? There has been a historic equation between, for example, your family and my country, between the Northern Alliance and my country. Do you expect India to have a role now?
Well, what we really expect at the moment, right now, at this moment inside Afghanistan, we really expect the sort of consensus amongst different ethnicities. We really call on the Taliban as a Pashtun to come with the rest of the ethnicities like Tajik, Hazara, Uzbek to really forge an alliance and make the peace. This is the first pillar of peace in Afghanistan. But the second pillar of peace in Afghanistan is that the neighboring country and regional power, they really have to kind of come into some sort of consensus on Afghanistan, because they should kind of, put away their rivalry in Afghanistan. They all should come to really help to strengthen a national government inside Afghanistan. That is the priority. If we can get the two together, the consensus inside Afghanistan and the consensus in the region and extra region, then we can have some peace in Afghanistan. The role we all have to play at the moment is for peace. But if it comes to it, that then we don't have no alternative, then of course that will be another stage.
Would you rely on India's help if there is no alternative but to fight?
Well, in the past, that has been during the resistance, of course.
When
we were fighting against terrorism, when we were fighting against terrorism, the one country and some countries, amongst them India, was one to extend their help to the resistance. But as soon as the 2001, then the new chapter came, then India completely forgot everybody and just went away, and it completely disappeared from the scene. So now, this is something that, of course, if it happens, then of course it needs some help as well. But we hope, let's hope that before that happens, let's hope that we can have peace, we can have a dialogue, we can have some sort of understanding with the Taliban to forge a government of unity or some sort of peace government. But it all really depends on the kind of flexibility of the Taliban, whether they have changed or not. If we talk about have got a program, we have got an agenda, we know exactly what's required for Afghanistan, what sort of system, what sort of government, how exactly we can reach inclusive government. We all have this agenda.
Sir, just one point, you say that India disappeared after 2001, but India has invested more than $3 billion in Afghanistan since 2001.
Well, as well as the United States also invested billions of dollars in Afghanistan. But really what happened? The whole thing vanished. Why did the whole thing vanish? Because some of the countries did not take care of who exactly they were supporting in Afghanistan. Let's say one of those speakers was Dr. Ashraf Ghani. At the end of the day, who he called himself, he came as a thief, as a burglar, as somebody corrupt, as somebody who stole millions of dollars, billions of dollars. So therefore, if you do investment in such thing, it will be wasted, as it's wasted like that.
Ashraf Ghani, you feel he was a burglar in your country?
The rest of the government.
You feel he, and those were your words?
Well, there was.
Right. Very strong.
Those were very clear burglar in our country. And that happened really. What I'm trying to say is this. All the friendly countries to Afghanistan, they really have to genuinely seek peace in Afghanistan. How exactly we can have peace in Afghanistan? That's very good. Not to really kind of support a burglar, a corrupt, somebody who is running away, who really kind of vanish the whole thing, the whole country, and just disappear altogether.
Sir, is it your fear that once America leaves the airport along with NATO, then all of these statements by the Taliban that, they'll allow the media and that Afghanistan will not be used to target any other country and that people will be protected, minorities will be protected, all of that will disappear?
Well, at the moment, they have not yet really shown if they do that one. They have promised something like that, but we still have not seen a practice. We'll have to wait until maybe they say, well, the dust is high, let's give us some time to get together, because until now, their leadership is not known who is exactly their leader. But once it does come down, listen, time, we can know exactly the intention. What is the definition of inclusive government as far as they are concerned? All of that have to be known. Then we can decide, we can judge.
Sir, a final question to you and a personal question. Your family and you personally are deeply invested to democracy in Afghanistan and, civil society in Afghanistan, the rights of women in Afghanistan, the right of the vote in Afghanistan. How personally devastated are you that 20 years has become zero now?
Well, it's really kind of, it hurts. It really hurts, It hurts because, we really have to start from scratch again. We really have to start from where? What happened? Why the international community? I mean, the whole hope was at the end of the day, the international community will not leave Afghanistan alone. At least they will let them. What happened? We are at the moment just out there. We don't know what to do, where to go. And the whole thing, it's really hurting. It's really hurting because it's something like that. People invested. Where's the people's life? Not only that they lost the property, not only did they lost their life, their identity, their belongings, their everything they lost there. Nothing happened. The hope was that the international community, at the end of the day, they will act responsibly. But they did not act responsibly on the Afghan people. And that is really hurting.
Ahmad Wali Massoud, it's an honor speaking to you, sir, and hopefully the resistance will be alive to bring back the change and the democracy that we want in Afghanistan. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Well, on this program, there have been several questions from our viewers. This is a question on coup which has come in from Indu Bhagat. The resistance in Afghanistan, will Amrullah Saleh be able to ward off the Taliban? Hopefully, we've got several answers to that question. And we did a poll as well on coup. Is the Afghan resistance strong enough to stand up to the Taliban? 50% said yes, 50% said no. We're completely out of time on this program. My colleague Sanket Upadhyay will be up next. For the moment, this short break.